Hi guys, here's a few exercises that you can do to increase leg and hip mobility. We're going to start in something similar to child's pose. It's just prenatal pose. So the only difference is you're going to take the knees out to the sides a little bit more. So you start to feel a little stretch for the hips. If you need something underneath the forehead so that you don't have to go all the way down to the floor, you can grab something like a blanket, a pillow, or a stack of books. You can also have something underneath the hips, between the legs, so that you don't have to have the hips all the way down to the heels. So make any adjustments that you need to so that this can be a comfortable position for you. And the only thing that you feel is like stretching or working is your hips. So you take a few breaths here, feeling your mind center in on the body. It becomes fully aware of how the body feels so that as you move forward with the exercises, you don't go too far. You're paying full attention to your body and respond to your body's needs. Now as you're ready, you're going to inhale up to hands and knees, and exhale back to prenatal pose. Inhale up, exhale back. So you're just going back and forth, really simple movement, making sure that you're not going too far. You don't have to push it. Maybe as you do it a few times, you notice that you can go a little bit deeper, but don't push to the point of uncomfortable sensation. Just take one more, up, down, and then coming up to hands and knees. Bring the knees right underneath you so they're not out to the side anymore. And we're going to do a position that looks like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant to work with the leg rotation in the hip socket. So I'll show you on the left side first. You can start with your left leg, keeping it bent. You're going to lift it up and then open it out to the side. So the knee is pressing back so that what's happening is your femur bone is rotating in the hip socket. So you're making that rotation happen. You just take a few of those. Keep the leg active. Keep the hands and the right shin pushing into the floor to give you stability. So I find that after a few, I get a little tired and I start to sink my weight into this right hip, so I'm kind of collapsing down. Keep it energetic, so you're reaching through the floor and up to the ceiling. So there's energy going all directions with the body. Just take one more if you can. When you need to, you take a break, rest the leg down. You can take the hips down into child's pose, but you can take the hips over to one side of the feet and then over to the other side. Giving yourself support. So if you need the hands on the floor or up on books or blocks or something, so you don't have to go all the way down. And then we'll go on the other side. So up to hands and knees. Right leg lifts up, still bent, and you open the knee out to the side, opening the hip. Open and closed. So this is an open hip, this is a closed hip. Keeping energy through the floor with your hands and your left leg, keeping the right leg reaching out and away from you. Every exhale, you can pull the belly button in to use the core to stabilize you. Again, if you feel a sinking, like the hip is sinking down, press through that leg, keep it energetic. Just take a couple more if you can. Take a break whenever you're needing to. When you're ready, rest into child's pose. Maybe taking the hips over on one side and then the other. So we're going to take that principle of the leg rotating in the hip socket into another position. You don't have to do this one. It is a little bit more advanced just because it's putting more weight on the hands. So do what you can or what you feel comfortable with. We're going to come up to hands and knees, pressing through all the fingertips. Spread the fingertips apart. Feel all of the knuckles pushing into the floor so the hands are nice and stable. Take an inhale, and then you're going to exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up into downward dog. So with downward dog, the legs don't need to be straight, the heels don't need to be on the floor. You find what works for you, as long as it feels like you're not putting all of the weight forward into the hands. This is a position I see really commonly in downward dog. So you want to reach the hips up high if you can, so that the weight is even between the hands and the feet. So your stability is coming mainly from your upper body in this position, because we're going to go into what's called three-legged dog. So your standing leg and your arms are pushing into the floor, keeping you stable. The hips are constantly reaching up to the ceiling so you don't start to sink down and round in the back. And when you're ready on an inhale, you're going to lift the right leg up. Doesn't have to be straight, whatever feels best. And then again, you're going to open the hip out and close the hip. Open it out and close. So you're just going to take two more here because this one is quite a bit more tiring. Keep that left leg active. The thigh is squeezing, the calf is squeezing. And then when you're ready, come back to downward dog. And we're going to do the other side right away. Just get it done. So left leg lifts up. You can bend the knee, rotate the leg out and in. Open hip, closed hip. Now just a couple more. Keeping that right leg active, the arms are pushing into the floor. And then when you're done, rest down. And you can take the knees down and sit back. Roll the wrists a few times, give it a break. And then the last thing we're going to do is called figure four. So it's just a nice stretch for the hips. You're going to take the legs out in front of you. And your right leg is going to pull in. Just start with opening the knee out to the side so the bottom of the foot comes off the floor. Just feel that stretch here as you sit right on top of the sit bones underneath each glute. Your spine lengthens up, your head is reaching up to the ceiling. And feel your left leg extending out away from you with the heel pressing down into the floor. Even if the knee is bent, it doesn't have to be straight. But you feel that heel digging into the floor and almost feel like it's dragging toward you. So you feel the back of the thigh engaged. So now you're going to take the right foot and cross the ankle over the left thigh. So make sure it's not too close to the knee. Take it high up if you can. The ankle is going to point and your toes are going to flex. So it's as if you were like standing on your toes with this foot. So then from here, keeping yourself sitting tall on the sit bones, you don't start to round in the back. The hands come behind you, shoulders roll back and down. And then that left heel drags into the floor and drags towards you, however far it feels comfortable. So you find that spot where you're getting a good stretch in the hip, but you're not going too far past the point of comfortable sensation. And you also keep this ankle pointed, and you are wary of, you're conscious of your right knee. So if you start to feel any pressure there, take the foot away from you, take the leg away from you. Maybe even just bring the knee to the chest a bit more to relieve some tension there. So just be aware of what's going on in the body, not going too far, just getting that stretch that's good for you. So your exhales are helping you pull the belly button in, ground through the hips, keeping that ankle pointed, and it can kind of be pushing into the leg, but your inhale is helping to lengthen the spine so you don't round in the back. And then when you're ready, straighten the leg, uncross, and we'll go to the other side. So left leg in, open the knee out to the side, just get that position of the lengthened spine. This right leg is extended out, heel is pressing down, digging into the floor. Any bend in the knee that works best for you. And then the left ankle crosses over the thigh, not too close to the knee. Ankle is pointed, toes are flexed. And then you bring the hands behind you, sitting tall on the sit bones. Drag the right heel into the body, however far it feels comfortable for you. So your breath is reinforcing the position. Your inhale reminding you to lengthen the spine, your exhale reminding you to be grounded into the floor with your hips and have your right ankle or your left ankle pointed and pushing into the leg. And also having your your right heel pushing into the floor. And then when you're ready, straighten the leg, uncross, and then you're all done.